I've been on Spaces doing this, but it's much better being able to show it in person. So
For
keep
sure.
heading down there. I'll tell you when. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll just go with the flow here, really. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll get down to like the good stuff. Here we go. On chain. Yeah, yeah. Keep going down here a little bit more. Here you go. Stop there. Right. So that's what your standard NFT looks like. It's a link that points to a JSON file, and this is where your metadata stores. That's an example of a tiny dino one, right? So, but if you're to look at mine, for example, so if you scroll down a little bit here, mine is actually built of a bunch of code essentially.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so in the actual EVM, the blockchain itself is creating what you see in the previous screenshot there
Yeah, that's
in
different.
real time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how you do that, right? So if you scroll down a little bit more, um, right. So you got your traits here, like any typical collection. You've got all your different layers, right? So if you scroll down a bit more here, yeah. So what you have here, right? This is probably the meat of it here. What I did was that you're familiar with like a PNG file of
Yep.
of an image, right? So that is essentially pixels and whatever else. But you have something called an SVG image, so you can only store an SVG on the blockchain. You can't store a raw PNG file; it's
Oh,
too big.
SVG is for like websites and all that as well.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the beauty behind an SVG is that you can kind of, and why it's used on websites a lot is because it can be scaled to any size and the quality is not affected. And this is because what the image actually is code. So it's just saying, put this pixel here, put that pixel
Oh
there. It's
wow.
not really blowing the image any
Okay.
bigger.
Hmm.
So what I did then was I built the dinos into what you call like a pattern, and you basically have a bunch of rects, they're called, like rectangle, and it basically says, you can see here, like like X and Y coordinates, and you've got like your height and your width. And
Hmm.
what this is
Wow.
basically saying is, in this position, put a yellow dot. In the position below, for this example, put a yellow dot that's slightly different of a gradient, and so on and so on. So this here built me a pattern of how I could store this on chain. Because you can see here, it looks pretty similar.
Hmm.
So what I did was pull out of this. If you scroll down a little bit more, we'll probably see it. Yeah,
Here.
here you go. So you see
Wow.
what the pattern is here. So what I did, right, not to go on about this too long, but what I did then is turn this into it's called a byte array. Like, it's basically something that's EVM compatible, and it allows me to store that line there on the blockchain. And then what we do is that when your token ID comes up, it goes and finds what is the color needed, what is the body shape needed, what is the eyes needed, the hat needed, and so on, and generates it in real time on the blockchain.
Yeah, this is
Um,
next level.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't invent this, it's definitely been done before by other people, but I suppose I sandwiched a couple of different things here together. And
Mhm.
what this allowed me to do is, like, you probably know, like in most NFT collections, it might be I haven't looked this hard. Scroll a bit further down, you might see it. What it allowed me to do, right? So here's an example of how it's stored. So you've got like your feet data. So this is like, the first one is like having no feet, so there's nothing to show. The next one's on a skateboard. The next one on a hoverboard.